Lockheed Martin. For decades, that name has pretty much been synonymous with American air power, right? A true titan of the defense world. But here's the thing. In this crazy, high-stakes game of military tech, is that throne really as secure as we all think it is?
Hey everyone, welcome to the bull versus the bear. So today, we're putting Lockheed Martin right on the scales. On one side, you've got the super powerful bull case, the argument that their dominance isn't going anywhere. And on the other, a really compelling bear case that says, hey, a major shift might be happening right under our noses. By the end of this, you're going to have all the key arguments you need to make up your own mind.
All right, let's kick things off with the bull case. And really, it all starts with something that feels just unshakable. We're talking about Lockheed Martin's portfolio of legacy programs. And look, these aren't just simple contracts. Nope. These are the very backbone of the U.S. military. We're talking funding streams in the billions, stretching out for years and years.
Okay, let's put some real numbers to this. Check this out. The Pentagon's fiscal year 2026 budget request, it sets aside a staggering $13.1 billion for the F-35 Joint Strike Fighter. This is Lockheed's flagship program. It's the most advanced fighter jet being pumped out right now. And let's be real, it is a cash cow of truly epic proportions.
And it's not just about what's flying in the air either. This number right here, $3.7 billion, that's for the Trident II ballistic missile. We're talking about a cornerstone of America's strategic nuclear deterrent. So this really shows you Lockheed isn't just building planes. They are absolutely central to national security at the very highest level.
Okay, so we've got air, we've got strategic deterrence. What about at sea? Well, boom. $1.8 billion for the Aegis weapon system. This thing is literally the shield of the U.S. Navy, a super sophisticated defense system on all their big ships. It's just a perfect example of how Lockheed's reach spans every single domain of warfare.
So, when you see it all laid out like this, it really clicks. You've got the F-35, Trident, Aegis, the JASSM missile, and these are just a few of their top programs, right? Put them all together, and what do you have? A massive, diverse, and just incredibly stable revenue stream that's locked in for the long haul. Honestly, for the bulls, this is pretty much checkmate. The argument is that the company is just too essential to fail.
Okay, but here's the question you have to ask, right? Is all of Lockheed's strength just tied up in these amazing legacy programs? Is it all about maintenance and sustainment, or are they actually positioned to win the wars of tomorrow?
And that brings us right to the second pillar of the bull case. See, the argument is that Lockheed is absolutely not resting on its laurels. Bulls will point straight to the future frontiers of warfare. We're talking space, we're talking hypersonics, and they'll say Lockheed is already leading the charge.
Just take a look at this. When it comes to defending against the next generation of missiles, space is the high ground. And who's building it? Lockheed. They're doing it all. You've got SBIRS, which is the current backbone of our missile warning system. Then there's Next Gen Geo, its successor, which is specifically designed to track those super fast hypersonic threats. And get this, they're a prime contractor for the Space Development Agency's whole new setup. That means both the tracking layer to, find the missiles and the transport layer to create this tough, resilient communications network up in orbit. They are literally weaving the fabric of America's future defense in space.
And it isn't just happening in space either. Back here on Earth, the Pentagon has made hypersonics, weapons that travel at more than 5 times the speed of sound, a massive priority. And guess who's a key player in developing not only the offensive hypersonic weapons, but also the defenses against them? Yep, Lockheed Martin. This puts them in perfect alignment with where all that big R&D money is flowing.
Okay, that is a really powerful bull case. Right? They're deeply entrenched, they're building the future, it seems airtight. But now we've got to pivot, because the entire bear case, literally all of it, can be traced back to one single seismic event. A generational loss that has bears seriously asking if Lockheed's best days are already in the rearview mirror.
This is it. In March of 2025, the U.S. Air Force drops an announcement that just sends shockwaves to the entire industry. They chose Boeing to build the next 6th-generation fighter, the F-47. Just let that sink in for a second. Lockheed Martin, the undisputed king of stealth fighters, from the F-22 all the way to the F-35, just lost the contract for the single most important combat aircraft project in decades. Wow.
And this right here, this visualizes the core narrative of the bear case perfectly. On one side, you've got Lockheed Martin, who's managing the present, the near future, with the F-35. But on the other side, you have its main rival, Boeing, who is now tasked with building the next generation of American air dominance. It's like
Lockheed is selling the world the iPhone 15, while Boeing is in the lab designing the iPhone 20.
So, what does this loss really mean, deep down? Well, the bears will tell you this wasn't just about one contract. Not at all. They see this as a deliberate, strategic move by the Pentagon to start weaning itself off its dependency on a single company, no matter how dominant that company is.
And this quote, this gets right to the heart of that thinking. Diversification of the fighter and bomber industry is key. Having all eggs in just one basket, Lockheed, is not wise. I mean, that's pretty direct. It suggests the whole decision wasn't just about this one plane, but about the long-term health of the entire U.S. defense industry. It's about creating a real, true competitor for these super high-end projects once again.
And what's so interesting here is the future this kind of lays out. It almost creates a new two-tier system, right? Boeing gets the 6th-gen F-47, the air dominance quarterback, the top dog for those really tough, long-range missions. And it'll probably only be exported to our closest allies. Meanwhile, Lockheed gets positioned to focus on upgrading the 5th-gen F-35 and selling it to its huge global network of customers. Now, don't get me wrong, that is still a massively profitable business. But the bears would argue it means Lockheed is no longer at the absolute bleeding edge of fighter design.
So, there you have it. Two incredibly powerful and totally competing stories about one of the most important companies in the world. Let's boil it all down. Okay, so the bull case is pretty clear, right? You've got this massive, diversified backlog of programs that are just mission critical to national security. Plus, they're a dominant leader in the next-gen battlefields of space and missile defense. Solid. But the bear case is just as sharp. They got locked out of the next-generation fighter contract. Full stop. And now they face this real risk of a long-term strategic shift away from them by their number one customer.
And that, of course, brings us to the final question, and this one is for you. Which one of these scenarios do you think is more likely? And more importantly, why? Is Lockheed's foundation just too strong to be shaken by this? Or does losing the next-gen fighter signal a real changing of the guard? I really want to know what you think. Drop your analysis in the comments below.
Hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button for the bull versus the bear. We put major companies just like this one on the scales every single week. And feel free to check out some of our other deep dives right here on the channel. Thanks so much for watching.